Hey friends, today we're taking a look at this tiny little camera, the Sony ZV-1, which is quite possibly the best camera for vloggers, or for streaming online when you want to up your game from just a crappy little webcam, and for people who want to start and maybe get into these kind of shots. So let's talk about it. Welcome back to this very first look at the Sony ZV-1, which right off the bat, if you're just starting out with video or if you want a quick, compact and easy camera to use to create really great quality content, this camera is perfect for you. Now, before this one camera that was launched just a few weeks ago, you would have needed to buy a camera body, a lens, a microphone, maybe an ND filter, probably even a monitor. But what if I could tell you could replace all of these with just one camera? The Sony ZV-1. And this camera has an impressive list of features and tech specs, and it's the first camera of its kind where Sony have actually really listened to their customers, like literally ask anyone creating content what their list of wants would be in a camera. And this is pretty much what you would get. You've got a 20 to 70mm lens with a 1.8 to 2.8 aperture, which basically means that it's wide enough to get your face in it, and it will give you that nice background blur that you only really see in higher end cameras. The built-in microphone on here absolutely kills and truly performs even in windy environments, particularly when you're using the included mini dead cap that just clips into the top there. And it has a flip out screen, something which has been requested of Sony for so many years now, and I always wondered why Sony didn't do this. It's taken them so long, and I wondered if Canon had maybe patented the design where it flips to the right, kind of like Ford patented the heated front windscreen, so no other cars but Ford have heating elements in the screen. Do you know that? Another great feature, built-in ND filter, so you don't have to walk around with something extra to screw on to the front and fiddle with getting it right, and you can even assign that to one of the function buttons to instantly flip it on when you head outside into the bright sunshine. It's also got a feature that's coming soon via a software update which allows the camera to be used as a webcam, so you can really up the quality of those zoom calls. Now, in terms of features of the actual camera, there are some great strengths to both vloggers who are out and about and for people shooting in one place like I do here. There is, for one, an LED on the front, so you know when it's actually recording, something I've wondered why wasn't included on cameras for a very long time. There's also a product mode on here that will near instantly focus on anything you hold up to the camera for when you may be reviewing products, and then face detection for the rest of the time. And there's also a mode that blurs the background in your videos, and this is something you can get on higher end cameras where you have lenses with a low f-stop number. Essentially, the lower the f-stop, the quicker the background will lose focus and therefore blur. But what actually happens is that when you change the f-stop number to be smaller, the lens is opening up to take in all of the light. Now, this normally means that your footage will then be blown out, so you would then perhaps adjust the ISO to compensate, or add an ND filter, which is essentially just sunglasses for your camera. So there are all of these things happening, but in the ZV-1 this happens instantly. There's pretty much no noticeable change in image, other than the background, of course. That's really impressive. So this is just a quick test of the Sony ZV-1 with the full auto mode. This is probably the mode that everyone's going to use it on, to be honest. And if you notice, background you can currently see with the bushes in the background, you can see that very clearly. If I tap this button, then it all goes a bit blurry. And of course, what about the negatives? Because this cannot be perfect. Nothing's perfect. First off, being a point and shoot camera, the battery is quite small and generally lasts around 1 hour and 10 minutes of filming in 4K with autofocus. And it's worth mentioning that you can actually power this via USB. So if you have a portable USB charger or you want to plug directly into the mains, you can fairly indefinitely, but you have to have a battery installed for it. And also the overheating. This is a notorious issue for pretty much all Sony cameras. Even my more expensive A6400 and the A7 IIIs have the same issue. And on the ZV-1, this means that you may only get 5 or 10 minutes of recording time before it shuts off due to overheating. But there is a fix for this by going into the settings menu and changing the auto power off temperature to high. And then it pretty much just carries on and on and on and doesn't even really get that hot. I've left this running in this room, which is around 22 to 25 degrees, and it recorded for 2 hours straight, filled up the SD card, so I formatted it, filmed for another 2 hours straight before then filling that up again. So temperature really isn't an issue, but I've seen a lot of reviews saying how awful this camera is because they just didn't know about that one setting. And still sticking loosely with the battery and the SD card sit behind this battery door, which is actually part of the thread to mount it to a tripod. So you have to take your camera off from the tripod, then grab your SD card, and then mount it all back in again. It's a bit of a faff. Lastly, my only real complaint is that when you're using this camera for live streaming in 4K and want to stream at 30p, then you lose your face detection. Instead, you have to drop the camera back down to 24p and get back that option. The alternative here now is you could also drop down to 1080p, which can stream in 30p with face detection, or look to use an external recorder to work around that issue. Now, why is this an issue? Well, because places like YouTube will stream at 30p, so if you stream in anything less than that, then it just looks a little bit juddery. So 30p is the way to go. Overall, I think for the audience it's intended for, those starting out vlogging and who want a simple and light and small camera, it's well worth considering. And once you do really get into video, then you'll still want to upgrade to a model that can have interchangeable lenses, just to give you that little bit more creative control. But for me, this does provide a lot of features for a significantly reduced price tag when you factor in the cost of a body, a lens, a microphone, an ND filter. So for me, I think I'll be testing this out a little bit more with some actual, probably old style vlog footage, purely for the fact that it will actually make them so much easier to shoot instead of carrying around this much larger, more awkward setup for out and about. So yeah, I'd say it's pretty much a recommendation for me for the Sony ZV-1 today. Leave a comment below if you have any questions around the camera. If you notice with all of my videos, if you have any technical questions about the gear, I will answer each and every single one of them, providing I know the answer. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you did, subscribe if you're not already, hit the bell icon to be notified when new videos are posted, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you, bye bye.